Ranking Member Braun.
I think from the discussion you've heard today that it's clear that there's a difference between the broad array of diseases out there, the places where most pharmaceutical companies go, and that with everything we're talking about here, it's just not being addressed. And Keith, I'd like you to comment on, is the paradigm that we have currently working? And especially in the case of one with a narrow window of survival, and within the paradigm that is, to me, bureaucratic, has not responded in a way to these over a long period of time, is there any hope that we can get it done within that current structure?
I think that the comments that we were talking about of what's being collected and also comes down to the guidance as opposed to regulations, and as it was pointed out, the idea that it probably could be done in the right way, but unfortunately it isn't. And I think that
is that called compassionate use in the current framework?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be. I mean, but I mean, they could take any of these measures and they could probably try to bend it with it, but it doesn't happen. Yeah. And I think that's the reason why PPA really needs to be there, is because otherwise, without it, there's nothing that's going to make sure that there's any accountability to deliver the right decision on it. We witness this time and time again. I've talked to drug companies, and they tell me they can't figure it out. They feel that what is in the guidelines versus what is in the guidance or the suggestions that they receive back is not matching up. I talked to a drug company just last week, and they said they're probably not going to be focusing on our realm and on pediatric drugs, because
that's why we need the formality of PPA.
Exactly, because they see no way that it's going to work, and they're giving up. And we can't have that. These are small drug companies, but that's where sometimes the best ideas come from. And if we take away the opportunity to consider those good ideas, that's a problem. And I think the other thing that we miss is really the patient right type of thing. We talk about data collection. We talk about the idea of being able to have it at the pharmaceutical level or in the FDA. Data isn't the property of one entity over another. There has to be also a patient element to this. That's the beauty of what is in the Promising Pathway Act, is also the international register, or these registries that are in there, these independent registries, which allow for everybody to be able to communicate that, but still protect the patient privacy at the same time. And otherwise, we're just going to get half of the information. We're going to be following what we think is necessarily the guidance on it. And effectively what we're left with is a Wild West type of mentality as to how we deal with drug trials. And we can't keep doing it that way, because if that's the case, we're never going to be able to get anywhere on this.
Thank you. I yield back.